Spencer, you knew the Carters personally. You emceed a number of events. You knew them professionally, personally. What's one fabulous moment that you're remembering today that you, I don't know, something behind the scenes that maybe we just didn't know about the former president and first lady?
Yeah, well, Kira, something that comes to mind immediately happened when I was emceeing the joint celebration of President Carter's 95th birthday and Mrs. Carter's 92nd birthday. It was held at Maranatha Baptist Church in Plains, and it was an example of how they had a quiet understanding of what was going on in each other's minds. I asked President Carter a question. I had one of those stick mics in my hand, and he grabbed the mic and took it out of my hand. He answered my question, but then he immediately turned and gave the mic to Mrs. Carter, knowing that she wanted to chime in and add something to the answer as well, not giving me a chance to ask her the question. He just knew she needed to speak, and he gave her the mic as well. And it was just a sweet moment.
It's true, Spencer. He was, you could see in the interviews, I remember his presidency, he was a natural feminist in his way. You know what I mean?
Yes.
At least with his wife. He was, wasn't he?
That's right.
She was an equal partner.
Chief advisor.
Yeah.
That's what he called her.
An equal partner in every way, that's true. And they were like two youngsters still in love. Well, obviously, that's what everyone saw in them. I just love the way they interacted. When I was in their company quite a bit over a period of decades, and they always had this sweet habit of holding hands when they were walking and smiling lovingly into each other's eyes. And of course, you know, they had many public kisses, which I think was something unusual for a first family when we first saw that in the Carters.
And Mark, if I could ask you, something strikes me in Alex's reporting, and as we're looking at these pictures, how local in a way. Of course, they're national, international figures, but they both born and raised in Plains, went home to Plains in the house that they bought in 1961 or whatever, wasn't it? She stops at Georgia Southwestern State University, her procession to the Carter Center. And I just wonder about that, about the way that Jimmy Carter brought the New South into the presidency, and Rosalynn with it.
You know, you're absolutely right. The South is a big part of this, and so is their hometown of Plains, Georgia. It's interesting to note, as was noted earlier by Martha Raddatz in the coverage, the Carters went back to Plains in 1953 after the death of President Carter's father. President Carter's father had been a pillar in the community, and President Carter himself saw a role that he could play in the community in building up Plains. And so they were returned there, but much to the chagrin of Rosalynn Carter. Once again, they returned to Plains in 1981 after President Carter was defeated by Ronald Reagan, and she didn't want to return then either, but she made the very best of it. And they launched the Carter Center. One of the things that gets Terry is a trusted advisor and counselor to her husband, but what doesn't get mentioned enough is that she was doing the work when he was at camp to hammer out those negotiations between Israel and Egypt. She was taking notes meticulously. When he was banging nails for Habitat for Humanity, she was banging nails too. He was trying to eradicate diseases in the third world through the Carter Center. She was trying to do the same thing. So not only was she a loyal partner and that her husband was doing as well, adding to that Carter legacy.
And you know, Marcus, we're looking, I guess, to all of you gentlemen, we're looking at live pictures now, actually, from Atlanta, Georgia. You see the procession and the former First Lady's casket now being taken into the church, led there by the Navy, you can see, of course, tying to the former First President. But I was thinking about Atlanta, Georgia, and Mark, you were talking about the impact that she made during his presidency and certain things that she were of extreme value to her. And the first time that I had a chance to meet them was at Skyland Trail, the mental health program, an amazing hospital that offers counseling and care to those struggling with mental health. And she was always there at every event. She was always supporting fundraising because that was a subject matter that was very close to her. And she was talking about it in a time that it was very taboo. And I remember one event in particular, Art Buchwald and Bill Styron and Mike Wallace. They called themselves the Blues Brothers because they all suffered depression, and they all sat there. They would come through and talk at Skyland Trail and other places. And I remember one event, them all sitting in the front row, and Rosalynn Carter and the former president all sitting there. And, you know, you had three hilarious individuals. I mean, Art Buchwald was an incredible satirist, but you got Bill and Art and Mike Wallace all talking about depression. They love to joke about it. And there was Rosalynn Carter cracking up with them, cracking jokes, laughing. And, you know, the former president was sitting there very calm, cool, collected, smiling. But his wife owned that moment. I mean, she could take a very taboo subject matter and make it her own and make it conversational and make people feel comfortable with it.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.